means it is, well, if you're watching it live, it's Thursday. If you're watching it any other time, there's a 1 in 7 chance that it's Thursday. On Thursdays, all guests get to show up with their favorite sales/marketing/business tool that they use or love or depend on and absolutely would recommend without reservation to anyone who's doing this kind of task or wants to automate X or Y. So today we have John, we have Dr. V. I have one that I use. It revolutionized my business. It won't revolutionize yours, but it will help you in a very specific way, and it's amazing. I'll go last. And so, guys, who wants to volunteer to go first and show off?
John does.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say
I was going to feature my coffee maker, but I decided that was
yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the only thing that keeps you alive, so that's not surprising. Anyway, wow, sorry, that was a little harsh. Hey, anyway, so yeah, it was funny. I was thinking this morning, I'm going, gosh, it's tool time. What am I gonna share today? And I got thinking about something that we've been working on, and that is getting a new podcast off the ground. And so many people are kind of like stuck in the, oh my gosh, there's like a million podcasting tools. I don't know how to get started with this. How do I get going in a really easy, affordable, simple way? And so the tool that I thought of this morning was a tool called Anchor.fm, which for the longest time was all on its own.
Are you going to show it?
I'm going to try. I don't know how this is going to work. But
it's always challenging desktop versus others.
If you can put the link in the chat, I'll put it in the general chat for everybody.
All right.
Is it just the word Anchor, ANCHOR?
ANCHOR.fm. Okay. Correct. And so Anchor now is part of Spotify. And I'm going to just try to,
what isn't part of Spotify these days?
Yeah, it's actually true.
It's funny. Anchor originally just started on its own. And I'm not surprised that Spotify picked it up because so many people want to have their podcasts on Spotify. And so why not have some kind of tool to make that easy for them? And so, whoa, what happened? Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
You're here. Nothing has shown up.
Sorry. It's like my screen changed for a moment. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
as long as you don't have
FM is now on the bottom of the screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. As long as you don't have the blue screen of death, you're okay. Oh, I see. It's just on the bottom there.
Yeah, I see it over here. So let's see if we can. I wonder if I can show it from without actually showing it from the app.
Is it not an online tool?
It is an online tool, but you mostly use it from an app.
Okay.
It's predominantly iPhone. I believe it's also Android now.
Oh, so it's phone-based podcasting.
It's mostly phone-based.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the reason why it's phone-based. The reason why they made it phone-based is what's the most common issue that people have with trying to make a podcast? They're all going, how in the world am I going to record this thing? I don't have the right microphone. I don't have the right gear. And it just makes things crazy. Mm-hmm. So what they did is with Anchor, they have it set up so that you and I, like, let's say, Dean, you and I are making a podcast with Anchor. We literally connect through the phone, and we're able to talk back and forth,
right,
and do the whole thing right from our cell phones, and it creates a great recording. There's no problem with that, and like I said, it's got great features. It's part of Spotify. It makes the recording part simple, which is usually, like I said, one of the most difficult things people have in getting started. Unlimited hosting, distribution to all your major places that you want to distribute a podcast to. You get analytics, monetization. It's very inexpensive to get started in an arena where Libsyn, SoundCloud, they all have some other expenses. Blueberry, sure. And so this kind of keeps your costs low. It's a great place to just get going and learn podcasting in a very easy, simple manner. And I do believe, don't quote me on this, but I do believe it may still even be free.
Mm.
I think it still is.
You
But
can't. I can't. I
last-
can't figure that one out. But anyways, let me. Well,
I mean,
wow.
because Spotify having purchased it, I think they're pouring some money in there, but I think they want to monetize it.
Yeah.
So,
The other one that I was thinking of too, this morning. It's also a pretty good podcasting program. That's a little similar. Is the one what's the one that Sue recommended to us, Dr. V?
oof.
Uh, it begins with an A. Audition.
Audible Audition.
No idea.
Audacious. I don't know.
I
Okay.
don't know. I can't remember.
Later.
I'll set that up for next time. Anyways, Anchor, good place to get started with a podcast.
Are you talking Audacity as an editor or no?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about she'd mentioned one that was
Okay.
yeah. Anyways,
All right.
Anchor. It's a great place to kind of get started, get your feet wet, and get going with podcasting.
Okay, I have one alternative. I don't think it's free, but it seemed to be fairly cheap. Have you ever heard of Descript.com?
No.
No.
So Descript is interesting in that it will it automatically creates it's a platform. So I learned about it a while ago. I have only ever used it for like off menu kind of tools. It's very similar, Dr. V, to how you were showing a few weeks ago that you can use TikTok just to edit videos,
Oh, yeah.
even if you never post anything, right? You can use Descript to handle and deal with and get a lot of transcription done on videos without ever, or audio without ever like publishing it. Right? So anyway, it creates the automated machine-based transcription of every word that's done. But what makes it useful is that then you can do your editing so like you've got the timeline with like the audio wave file on the bottom and then all the text is on top. You can like select this sentence or this block or whatever and like delete it, and it's deleted from the audio file. Or you can move it around and it'll move it to the other part of the. So you said, really, this would flow better if this paragraph was first and this paragraph was second. So you can move the paragraph and it will do the editing for you on the audio timeline.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it has one other tool that's like amazing or creepy depending on how you do it. Now you can't do it
Amazing
for
or
guest
creepy?
voice, but for your own voice, because it
Yeah.
recognizes speakers, right? Let's say you mispronounced a word or you wish you had said something like,
Yeah.
and she's also, the world's best baker, and you forgot to say she's world. You can
Right.
type that in, and it will generate that in your voice and put it in the timeline.
That is so cool.
Yeah, Descript.
That is
It's basically like description, but
So
without
it's
the ION.
DSCRIPT.
No,
Or is
it's like
it
description, but there's no ION. So Descript.com.
Descript.com. Oh, so
Yeah.
that's boy, they must have paid something for that domain name.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So
Descript.
basically what it does is you don't have to learn or know anything about editing like the actual audio. You just edit like you would be editing in Word, and it
Yeah.
will do all of the audio-based editing for you.
That's extraordinary. I definitely have to find that. That would be
Definitely. I
great
think
for our
like $12 a
podcast.
month I was paying $12 a month for the lowest level plan. Totally worth it.
It would be totally worth it. That's great. I'm really enthusiastic about that. I think John's bandwidth seems to cut out periodically. We both have the highest level, like the 1 gig speed, but each of us have had these issues of just occasionally it just drops us.
Yeah.
And we don't know why. So we have very fast uploads and downloads when it's working. So that would be a tool that we'd look at. Hey, let me get to my stuff here. I think John is rejoining at some point. I have fewer tabs open for you today.
That's a nice change.
It is amazing. It is totally amazing. Can you see this? Oh no, he's back.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Finally up here. Boom.
Yeah, just shoot me.
Shoot you? Yeah, Sean says it's a rough morning.
Well, I figured
Have
maybe
you tried turning it on and off again?
Turn it on. Yeah. Have you tried unplugging?
I actually figured yesterday maybe it was my other computer, and I tried the one that I had no trouble with before, but I'm still having trouble. So
you need a new modem, my friend.
No, I need a new phone. I need a new
service provider.
Broadband provider. Yeah.
Yeah, that I think is what it's goes to.
So I really wanted to show you TikTok analytics today, but we still haven't mastered the art of, showing the phone in Restream. At least I haven't. I mean, maybe you
Okay.
have, Dean, but that just confuses me. I can do it in Zoom really easily, but not here.
Mhm.
So this is my tiny Instagram account, and I'm posting mostly reels on a regular basis through here.
Sure.
So you get the occasional post here. I tapped into Top Gun with this little reel, but what I like is in the handheld version, actually, and doing the analytics, is just being able to pop in, and maybe we show this at some other time. I wish I had the screenshots of it, but it'll show you in a graphic form under Instagram Insights, but only if you have the business account. So if you have a personal Instagram account, you need to change it to business because you mean business. And when you click that, then you can go down and you can look at all the different, how everything is functioning, from, how are your lives doing? How are your static posts doing? How are your reels doing? And the information on the reels is really interesting. But within Meta Business Suite is where, and I think I'm showing my account. Yeah, I don't want to show a client's account or my wife's account to get in trouble that way.
Yeah.
You can really start looking at in this section in here, which is insights. And insights to me is one of the most valuable things, not because I'm looking for vanity metrics, but I want to see in some ways what's performing well, what's not performing well. And so as I get into the results section through here, I can start seeing what's happening with my Instagram posts. Okay. And so my reach actually is improving because I was on a 90-day run. Whoops, there we go. I was on a 90-day TikTok performance thing. So even though something is down a little bit, it doesn't surprise me. That my Facebook is just horrible. Instagram has shrunken just slightly. Okay. But I don't do any boosting of posts. I don't do anything like that. But what I like to see is what are the performances? What's the reach of these different things? And then in terms of results, what does my audience really look like? Who are these 1,200 people on Instagram who follow me? The Facebook page, by the way, that was just a disaster.
Yeah.
I got onto a one of those things where you do ads to basically get more people to like your page, but my page is populated by people from Egypt, Nepal, Pakistan, all kinds of places, because those were the cheap clicks way back when. And I had 17,000. I tried to shrink it down and it would only let me go to 11,000, and I couldn't get rid of more people. So Facebook doesn't want me to get rid of those people, even though they're not terribly engaged. And you can see here, they skew very young.
Mhm.
But my natural audience is here more on Instagram. See? This is my more natural audience, in the 35 to 64 range. That's the bulk. And that should be here on Facebook, but it's not. So this is telling me, for example, I should really focus more on Instagram and less on Facebook, because it's not doing me any favors. The graphs usually are really good. They're just not going to show me all the stuff that I really want.
And it's not hard to sort of like understand and get into
Oh,
this.
no. It's pretty darn easy.
No data science degree required.
No. And I mean, there are benchmarks too.
Even a former chiropractor can figure this out.
Well, no, I'm still a chiropractor.
Even a chiropractor can figure this out.
Yeah, we joke about, so we have a Do It Now show. We do a live streaming on a regular basis. And we say with Dr. Kayvon K, we say, so easy, even a Kayvon can do it.
There you go.
Anyway, but you can see top cities, Kathmandu, Nepal.
Right. Congratulations. You're huge in Nepal.
I'm big in Nepal. Now, and I'm big in Lagos, Nigeria, apparently, as well as San Diego.
How about that?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Although there is a war going on right now. So I will say, though, that many years ago, I did Traffic Geyser when I was first trying to do YouTube videos exclusively.
Sure.
And I just spread them out everywhere. I mean, we're talking, like yahoo.jp. I mean, I didn't really have a whole lot of choice, but Mike Koenig's Traffic Geyser just shot these videos everywhere. And literally, I was big in Japan with my snow shoveling video. And it was hilarious. But that was a tool gone wrong, because I was really trying to do local marketing. Anyway, so I want to show you the Instagram, the mobile interface, but I can't do that today because my phone was at 0, and also we haven't quite mastered the screen sharing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
the screen sharing thing.
All right.
But I just do find it's very interesting. I skew older on Instagram, and you think that, Instagram is one of those places. The TikTok thing is probably going to show something similar too, because I'm really big nowadays on short form video. I'm trying to master, how can I get a message through in 15 seconds, 60 seconds, like a commercial, really.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, and to me, with such limited attention span in the world nowadays, it's just a big thing for me. And by the way, when you have the phone, I found out that those of us who have Instagram Live, we all have the capability of doing short form video vertical on LinkedIn, which is
Yes.
hilarious to me.
Yeah, anyone can do with the LinkedIn app can do video live streaming or short form video, I should say, on
Mhm.
LinkedIn
Yeah.
just with their phone. You
Yeah.
don't need a LinkedIn Live
Mhm.
authorization or anything like you would for
Yeah.
like for instance what we're doing right now.
Right. Exactly. But now I realize I am big in Kathmandu, and so maybe I should visit there and say
You
hello
should
to all my
visit and enjoy your celebrity status.
enjoy my celebrities,
Yeah,
locals.
man.
International digital marketer and mindset coach, appearing now in Kathmandu. All right, so that's what I have for now. But I really do love the numbers, and you would think that I wasn't as much of a stats guy. My wife is a stats nerd, like
Right.
two-tailed t-test, everything, like the whole thing. But I like these numbers because of the visuals. By the way, if I can see here, okay, Instagram, I've got this 35 thing going on here. Apparently, in that 45 to 50, the 45 to 54 is perhaps the strongest because it's equal in men and women. But as we go, for the most part, I think in clinical practice, it was the same story. That I tended to attract a lot more female patients than male. And some people, it's like 60-40. I think for me, it was like 70-30. It was like 70% female, 30% male. But just, maybe I was a sympathetic ear or something. Who knows?
Maybe.
Anyway, so let me get out of this screen share here. Boom.
Okay, so yesterday I did the latest webinar that I've been doing, right? And
I can't stop the screen share. Oh, you're sharing your screen.
mine's sharing now. You don't worry about it.
Okay,
So,
that's
over the last several years, especially with the rise in sort of YouTubing and live streaming and smartphones,
Yeah.
these sort of and this is not actually the tool that I want to talk about, but it's the requirement to use the tool I'm talking about. So these sort of teleprompter setups, it just fits on top of and the price has been pretty stable. They tend to increase the build quality and they tend to increase the features. This one comes with a remote control, I guess, so you can do something with it. But all it is it's just a tripod, which you can pick up on Amazon for $20.
Yep.
And then you've got your camera or your phone. If you're going to use your phone as a camera, and it just bolts on. And what happens is this sort of device, which weighs, I can tell you, normally like anywhere from 1.5 to 3 pounds, it attaches to the top of the tripod, and then the camera attaches to the thing. And really, it's kind of hard to tell, but the main point of this whole thing is this iPad right here that my mouse is over. So this is essentially just it's about the size of a piece of paper mirror, one-way mirror, like you'd see in a police interview room. It's called split beam mirror, split beam glass.
How often have you been in
And
police?
it's on a hinge, and then so this is the mirror, and then this part here is just a plastic like tray, and your iPad sits flat or lies flat on the tray with the screen facing up, and it reflects. You can see that in this picture. It reflects off of the glass. Now the camera, which is on the other side of the mirror, can't see the words. So it shoots through and you're just looking at the screen and like reading what's on it, but the camera doesn't see the words. So it just looks like it's shooting you and there's nothing in between you and the camera. That's the whole point of the one-way glass. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this up is because if you're doing a lot of prepared videos and you're making like an online course, or you do a lot of stuff, or you're a guest, or you give a lot of presentations on Zoom or whatever, these things are very easy to use, but they're a great tool, but without the right software, they're either a nightmare or impossible or a dream. And I keep recommending this one application for phones and iPads and laptops and whatever. This one application, which costs $20 a year for the pro version, which I recommend you get, has just revolutionized that whole half of my business. And what it is it's a teleprompter app that runs on an iPad or a phone or whatever. The trick to why this one is so much better than anything else I've ever tried, and continues to be my go-to application for years and years now, for I think 4 years now, is that we think of a teleprompter app, or if you've ever tried out a teleprompter app in the past, what happens is you either paste in or download from Google or Dropbox or whatever. You sort of, after you've written your script, you sort of paste it into the application, and then there's a play button. You click play, and it starts scrolling. And even for as many times as I've used a teleprompter and as much time as I spend in front of a camera, I mean, with a face like this, who wouldn't spend a lot of time in front of a camera? But for as much time as I spend in front of a camera, even now, the idea that it's just going to keep scrolling and I have to keep up with it is terrifying. Freaks the crap out of me, right? And so the reason this one is totally worth the $20 a year is that you press play and it doesn't move at all. It waits for you to talk. And what it does is it sort of vacuums in all the text in your script, sends it out to a cloud service. This is all hidden from you. There's a little pop-up box, but you don't have to do anything. Has it all translated into a meta language for language processing for voice recognition.
Right.
None of this is extra, right? It's all built into your $20 a year. And then as you read what's on the screen, it will scroll up so you can read the next thing. And it's completely fluid. And if you talk faster, it'll scroll faster or slower. And if you stop saying what's on the screen to ad lib or answer a question or make a quick comment about something, it doesn't keep scrolling. It waits for you. And then when you go back and start reading again what's on screen, it picks it up and starts scrolling again. It's almost like a human is operating the scroll.
Interesting.
And and here's the thing, you don't even need the teleprompter kind of setup, right? I've got, CTOs and execs who are giving presentations and they're not actually on camera. Right. It's just, it's a shared PowerPoint and it's just the PowerPoint's on camera. So they just take the iPad, put it next to them or stand it up. A lot of iPads come with cases, right? Or people buy cases for their iPads and they have it. And so they just have it next to them and they're just reading it as a device that's next to their laptop.
But how do you get them to stop sounding like they're reading? Or is that training?
It actually, part of that is the writing.
Okay.
Right.
It's more natural.
It's not so much sounding as
I'll give you the number one tip for writing script on screen that sounds natural in just a second. Now, it does come with, but I don't have it with me. There's a companion app, which doesn't cost anything extra for your phone. And by the way, this works on Android, it works on iOS, it works on iPads and Samsung tablets or Android, whatever you want to use, right? Beautiful. And it comes with a companion app for your phone in case you're using a camera or a webcam and you're not using your phone as your camera with a remote control. So just in case it ever got stuck, or just in case you're not even live, you're just making a video, you're recording a video, and you want to do another take, and so you just wanted to scroll up to the top so you can just start doing it again. It's got a little remote control app with just like 3 or 4 little buttons on it, very easy to use, to start and stop the scrolling and to move up or down manually and to scroll all the way to the top if you want to.
So you're not ever doing it from your phone because the screen's too small.
Well, you can do it from your phone because remember, it's going to sort of like fill in a lot of the glass. Of here, but it can be a bit small. So 2 tips. One about the writing and one about using the teleprompter generally. The teleprompter has to be, in my experience, at least 4 or 5 feet away from your face. Like the mirror part needs to be at least 4 or 5 feet away from your face. 6 ideally. And only for this. If it's too close, people will see your eyes going back and forth, reading what's there on the screen. But if you're far enough away, they can't see your eye movement. They can't see micro eye movements at that distance.
Interesting.
And secondly, the way that because I write a lot of scripts for people who don't normally use a teleprompter or don't normally do public speaking, period, right? And when they try to write their own scripts, they find that it sounds like they're reading out of a textbook.
Right.
And they have to stop reading in strange spaces. And I say, and here's why. And this is what I tell them. This is directly what I tell them. I say, you've written God knows how many hundreds of thousands or millions of words in your life. Knowing that all of that, if it's going to be read by anyone other than you, and maybe even you, is read silently, which means you've never once unless you write a script or write a play or whatever. You've
Right.
never once had to think about the fact that the person who reads it has to breathe.
Right. The
So you
pause.
can have a 100-word sentence because
Right.
they're just reading it silently and breathing as natural, right? Whereas people who are doing public speaking stubbornly insist on breathing every few seconds.
Gosh darn it. You mean
They will not
suffocation?
stop breathing for
Suffocation's not
20
an option?
minutes, right?
I guess not.
I guess not.
Which means your sentences have to be a lot shorter, or
Right.
you have to use commas.
Mhm.
And basically, a script doesn't look like good writing. It'll sound fantastic,
Right.
but it will look like a dumpster fire.
Right.
Because like, why did we break this sentence right here? I mean, that's not even where anyone would break a sentence. Well, I broke the sentence there and put in a period or a comma to force you to take a breath
It's
before
so
you
true.
went done. Otherwise,
It's
you're going to go, and then,
Yeah.
or else it's very stilted sounding, and it's just weird. So
Yeah.
as long as you remember that you have to breathe, that means you can't have anything that's going to be read that's more than, say, 7 or 8 words long.
Right.
And this is the other thing about breathing. Because you're saying it out loud, you will breathe far more often than you breathe sitting still reading silently.
Right.
Mhm.
You're just
Because you're
pushing air
expelling
through
the
your
air, which means you need it more.
Yeah.
So as long as you keep your either sentences or parts of sentences separated by commas or whatever,
Right.
short, no more than 8 words ideally, then it will not sound stiff. It will not sound stilted. It'll have natural pauses in it because you've written in the pauses so that you can breathe.
I've read several Hollywood scripts, and you're right. It's just like, it is not good. You look at it and it's like, why is this so
Yeah.
short? Why is this? And it does, I wouldn't call it dumpster fire, but it's really kind of hard to read a script
Right.
because of all those pauses and those short sentences.
Mhm.
Yeah, it does not seem natural. You're
No.
used to reading 400, 500, 600 words per minute silently.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, this is all broken up and it's punctuated strangely and it doesn't make any sense. But the
Mhm.
thing is, if you can't, you're the only one who can see the words. Everyone else has to take it in as a stream, right?
Right.
Because people listening, they can't rewind you. They can't pause you while
Right.
a thought sinks in and they, internalize it. It's just a stream, which means there's more repetition.
Right.
When you're writing for a script. Like I'm repeating the same thing or I'm summarizing all the main points every 6 or 7 minutes in a webinar.
Well, and also,
so at this point, we've talked about that and we've talked about this and we've talked about that.
Yeah.
And that's going to lead us into X. And that was my way of sort of recapping for them where we are and hooking it into the next part. But yeah, it looks crazy, odd, ugly text and ugly sentences.
well,
to
also you
read,
see the
but
stage
for them, it
direction.
sounds fantastic.
Yeah, you see stage directions and other things and scene changes.
Yeah,
and
in a real script,
Yeah.
I don't have to do any of that. In my scripts, because they're mostly for webinars and people on Zoom, the
Yeah.
only direction that's there is inside of angled brackets. There's a tiny 2 or 3 or 4 word description of what slide should be on screen.
Right.
So girl eating ice cream cone.
Right.
And so they should know, okay, it's time to advance the slide. And I know I'm on the right one because it's the little kid eating the ice cream cone.
Doctor drinking beer.
Yeah. Doctor passed out drunk.
Doctor passed out,
With
suffocated.
22 empty, crushed up beer cans.
22
on the
empty
floor.
cans pressed in his head.
Wow.
So these things have, like I said, have stayed roughly the same price. I do not own this particular one, although if I was going to buy another one, I don't need another one. I own 3 or 4 of
Right.
different brands, but I would buy the newer one just because I own a lot of newer equipment. It's very good value for the money,
Mhm.
regardless of what it is, lighting, tripods, C-stands, whatever you're going to get. I would recommend the newer. So this, at this price with a remote control, I would absolutely use that.
And it's
What's the
newer.
price? What is the
Prompt
price
Smart
point?
Pro,
Yeah.
amazing application. And the thing is, it also separates the rehearsal and practice you do from being in front of a camera. Because remember, the iPad just sits there. You lay it in, you do your thing, you lift it out, and you go use it. Because you're not going to use your iPad just for this. You use it for all kinds of stuff, right?
Right.
You can be in bed and just run the thing, and it will use the voice recognition, and you can practice your presentation or speech or whatever just wherever you want. And then when you're ready to be on camera, just take the same iPad with that application running, lay it in the tray, hit the play button, go.
I wouldn't recommend actually doing your presentation from bed because your diaphragm's going to be compressed.
Yeah, it is. I find I cough a lot, But yeah, go to a coffee shop and just mouth the words. You're
Yeah.
just trying to remember your own cadence and what makes you
Right.
comfortable.
Right.
What I find is you almost never need, or my clients never need to run through anything more than 3 times with the teleprompter
Really?
sort of on their own, and it's enough, right? Because remember, I'm not trying to
Wow.
make them. They're not. We're not trying to start a political movement. We're not
Okay.
trying to get them to donate money. We just want them to pay attention,
Got
right,
it.
and not bore them. So yeah, usually 3 full run throughs with the teleprompter, so they get used to its speed and it gets used to their speed. That's plenty, and then they're good to go.
Cool. That's good. This is a
Great.
nice
PromptSmart Pro, $20, absolutely worth the money.
I'm gonna buy one or pay the annual $20.
And if it happens to give you an excuse to buy a new iPad, that's great. But I will tell you, I've run it on very, very, very old iPads.
Really?
It
I've
works
got
just
generation
fine.
2. I've got number 2, and it's
Mm.
really old.
Yeah, right. And even if your iPad has like a cracked screen and stuff, none of that will appear on the teleprompter app. And so it looks just fine. So if you've got an old, crappy, half beat up iPad kicking around and you want
Yes.
to buy one used for $100, use that one. It's fine. It'll work great.
Cool. Nice recommendation. Thank you.
PromptSmart Pro.
There
All
you
right,
go.
that's it. We've done our half hour and we've done 3 tools. So we are done for today and we're done for this week.
Yeah.
Yay.
I got to make a run for the border. I'm going to
All
Mexico.
right.
Okay.
Run for the
Good
border.
luck.
I am. Bye.
Try to avoid, Okay. By the way, I have to ask this question. I haven't been to Mexico in, my God, so long, decades now. And
Oh.
when I did go to Mexico, I drove in from California.
Yeah.
Right. And so driving into Mexico, and I don't know, this is my question. Is it still done the way that it was that long ago, where basically there's just a guy there going like this, and you just drive in?
There are now some soldiers there and others. I mean, they tend
But
to.
are you stopped with your? I mean, coming back into the
no.
United States, it's a long line. They check your
Coming back,
passport.
yeah, no, coming back's a different story. Coming back, we have what's called a Sentry Pass. So
Yeah.
our car is actually married to our documents. And so as we go through, they say, anything to declare? And we're like, no, or,
Right,
just got
yeah.
my lunch, or, I've got some pan dulce. One time the border guy or gal wanted to, she said, there was a guy in a different location said, well, the only way you're going to get across is you're going to have to give me a couple of pieces of that sweetbread. So they'll joke with you. If they're joking with
Get
you,
into Mexico, is it still
no,
just
getting
drive
in,
in?
you drive in, but they take a photograph of you in your car. So
Right.
and there's a gate, and the gate if you get the green light, the gate opens and you come through. The second stage of getting into Mexico is you're going past these border patrol people and nowadays some soldiers who are carrying these big automatic weapons and stuff.
Right. So I guess if your car had been reported stolen or the police were looking for that vehicle on the American side,
yeah,
right,
and
they would say, hey, here's the car, we got him.
But they remodeled the whole border crossing. So now there's an American crossing that you come through with photographs and stuff before you reach the Mexican one. But it's rarely stationed with anybody inside the booths. Occasionally you see somebody in the booth and they almost never stop you, but they built this whole thing with about, I want to say it's like maybe 8 or 9 lanes across on the US side with the gates that do open and close, but they're always open nowadays. But we saw one time when they did close the gates and they're going, checking cars one by one before they ever got to the Mexican crossing.
Right.
So anyway, but we go back and forth so regularly, and I've driven in Tijuana numerous times on my own, but my wife doesn't like my driving, so she's the wild Mexican taxi driver. So
All right, well, that's it